The Gibbs family farm is growing by 2 little feet. 90-day fiancés Brandon Gibbs and Julia Tribukuna announced they are set to welcome their first baby together. "Hey guys, it's Brandon, Julia, and Nala," the pair said alongside their dog in an August 26 TikTok video. "And we have big news, we're pregnant." In the clip, Julia cradled her baby bump in a blue dress, while Brandon rocked a pink polo shirt and white shorts. "It is exciting," Brandon added. "And it's a little scary, but we can't wait to share the next chapter of our journey with you guys." Indeed, while they haven't shared their baby's sex just yet, the mommy-to-be gushed about the warm wishes she and her husband, who have appeared on 90-Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, 90-Day Diaries, and 90-Day, The Last Resort, have received from day one. "Thank you so much," she said as she rubbed her belly, "for all your love and support." Julia, who began her journey with Brandon after moving from Russia to Richmond, Virginia, and has been open about her fears and trouble conceiving, celebrated the milestone in a separate message. "There is so much to say, I will start with this," the 31-year-old wrote alongside an August 26 Instagram carousel that shows her and Brandon kissing as they held the sonogram. "It is not usual for me and it is very strange to talk about this, but I have to start." The pair's news was celebrated from other members of the 90-Day universe, including Annie Francisco, who wrote, "Well, congratulations, big news. I'm so happy for you guys," and Stacy Silva, who celebrated with 3 red heart emojis. After years of documenting the ups and downs of their relationship, including their qualms with Brandon's overbearing parents Betty and Ron, the pair are excited to enter this next phase. "It's both exciting and a little surreal, but we couldn't be more thrilled to step into this new chapter," Brandon and Julia told People in an interview published August 26. "Thank you all for the love and support. We can't wait to share the journey with you." However, 90-Day Fiancé, The Last Resort spoilers reveal that after seeing the trailer for the new season, some fans think that Julia Tribukuna could be pregnant. This will be the 2nd season of the new show and fans found it interesting last season. The Last Resort is a way to highlight couples from 90-Day Fiancé who need to work on their relationships. They talk with therapists and attend workshops on better ways to build their love together. New couples are facing some obstacles in their relationships, and Julia and her husband, Brandon Gibbs, will be featured. Let's take a closer look. As viewers watched last season, the toxic couples on the show united to try and repair their relationships. Some were very successful, although there was tension and drama throughout the entire season. It looks like fans can expect this season to be just as dramatic. This season will show couples trying to solve their problems in the desert, unlike last season's beach setting. There are plenty of toxic couples uniting this season, including Julia and Brandon. In one of the clips for the new season, Natalie Mordovtseva is seen calling out Julia for being pregnant. In the scene, they are speaking to one another, and when they get away from the group, Natalie asks her if she is pregnant. She followed up with, "You gained some weight." Brandon and Julia have gone through a lot since they first appeared on 90-Day Fiancé. Some viewers were shocked that they have worked out for as long as they have. Julia did tell Natalie that she was not having a baby and was firm with her answer. However, fans want to know what Julia and Brandon need to work on in their marriage. The new season of 90-Day Fiancé, The Last Resort, premieres on December 2 at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Viewers will get a chance to see just how these couples can work on their relationship issues and if anything is ever resolved, or will they part ways. However, Julia Tribukuna from 90-Day, The Last Resort has shared some exciting baby news with fans after her recent career success in America following Brandon Gibbs getting hospitalized. Julia can currently be seen in Season 2 of the 90-Day Fiancé spin-off, where she and Brandon are trying to save their marriage. Julia married Brandon in April 2020 and have since shared their challenges on social media, including disagreements about having kids and an instance of Julia cheating on Brandon. Julia always put her foot down when it came to getting pregnant, although Brandon wanted to become a dad. During a recent episode of The Last Resort, Julia revealed that a Russian doctor informed her she could never have a baby. However, Julia wants to prove him wrong. 90-Day Fiancé _Alexa reposted a video shared by Julia on TikTok. Julia used the song God Is by Kanye West to make a funny clip using her dog. She sat next to her German Shepherd dressed in a furry coat while pretending to cradle him. Julia captioned the video, "I miss my body before I had you." The joke was about Julia's pet telling her that he was just her dog and not her baby and asking the 90-day Fiancé star to go to the gym. The blogger added a picture of an ultrasound showing a dog's image instead of a baby's. Julia was quite keen on never having kids from the early days of her marriage to Brandon. She had put her foot down and refused to start a family with Brandon. However, Brandon was very much interested in becoming a father. Fans had started asking Brandon and Julia about when they would want to become parents. Julia said she was never going to have kids. Slowly, she warmed up to the idea but denied it on the last resort. She eventually revealed that it was because a doctor in Russia informed her she'd never become pregnant. Julia seemed to have made up her mind to never birth a baby biologically. She started showering her love on her pet dogs instead and treated them like her babies. Brandon wished for Julia to get a second opinion from a doctor in America, but for now, Julia, who was scared of rejection all over again, is content being a dog mom. Her video with her doggie shows that Julia accepts that a dog can't replace a child in her relationship, but she doesn't mind it. Julia's pets have also helped her launch a new career in America successfully. Julia's Kingdom for Dogs business has been thriving. It's the first time that Julia's making money on her own since coming to the US. It's also a job that Brandon seems to support, considering Julia learned the ropes of dog training, etc. from his own dad, Ron Gibbs. Brandon has also grown up on a farm and is a pet lover himself. He will never dissuade Julia from calling herself a dog mom. However, it remains to be seen if he'll be able to convince her to have a child of their own soon after 90-day, the last resort. 90-day, the last resort couple Brandon Gibbs and Julia Tribukuna have been dropping hints about having a baby together amid their franchise comeback. Julia is from Krasnodar in Russia while Brandon is from Dinwiddie, Virginia, but their paths crossed in 2019 under the most unexpected circumstances. Brandon's friend who was traveling saw Julia dancing at a club in South Korea and connected them through a video call. Julia used to work as a go-go dancer for a living when she met Brandon. He didn't mind then but didn't want Julia working at a club in America. Julia has not been back home since she arrived in the US in 2020. Julia married Brandon in April 2020 while having to deal with his parents, Ron and Betty Gibbs' interference in their private lives. Moving out of Brandon's parents' house was also not a great idea since the elderly couple was still involved in their affairs. It appears they are also influencing Brandon's decision about having kids with Julia. Brandon and Julia's baby saga is a twisted affair, but could it have come to an end with Julia getting pregnant this year? In May 2023, Julia shared an emotional update on her Instagram where she addressed the repeated questions from fans about when she was going to have a baby with Brandon. It had been 3 years since Julia and Brandon's wedding, but she wrote that whether it's 3 years or 10 years, it doesn't oblige a couple to have children. Julia explained she and Brandon had never tried to have a baby because it had never been a goal of theirs. She added that society shouldn't decide when a couple is supposed to have kids. "We may never have children." Julia wished for fans to stop asking questions. She mentioned some health issues she was going through and some important questions about the future, which she didn't disclose. However, Brandon talked about the topic in his own Instagram post. His opinions on having babies differed from his wife's. "I think it's hard to be 100% ready for this, but I think part of me is already saying why not start trying," Brandon wrote. He suspiciously added, "We had a conversation with Julia," not revealing who he was referring to. Fans wondered if Brandon's parents were involved in their business again. Julia came face-to-face with Natalie Mordovtseva while filming 90-day, the last resort season 2 in Arizona. The co-stars were last seen together in 90-day Fiancé season 8 but seemed to have had some tensions running between them because Natalie was from Ukraine and Julia's from Russia. Natalie's boyfriend, Josh Weinstein, noticed some bad vibes between Natalie and Julia and asked her if they knew each other. Natalie said they did, and their relationship was twisted, complicated. Julia pulled Natalie aside to talk to her in private. Julia was being polite to Natalie by asking her if she wanted a drink. The two exchanged pleasantries in Russian, but as they sat down to chat, Natalie asked Julia, out of the blue, "Are you pregnant?" When Julia said no, Natalie told her she had gained some weight. An offended Julia lashed out at Natalie in her confessional, where she said she was trying to start fresh with Natalie, but she tried to insult her by talking about her weight. "Fuck you, I'm not fat," Julia said angrily. However, Julia didn't say anything about her supposed pregnancy.